Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. My prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for God. He is the first who has commanded me to submit, and that I do. It is Friday, the day of worship for the Islamic soldiers. And I'd like to bring a short message of hope, a short message of courage, and a short message of inspiration. A lot of soldiers come to me in despair. A lot of soldiers come to me in their hardest times, Islamic soldiers. And they talk about discrimination, they talk about racism, they talk about mistreatment. My answer is always the same, though it may not always be received. But I, as the Imam, must give you from the Quran, must give you from the life example of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I can't give you from my emotions. I can't give you from my pain. I can't talk to you from my hurt, because my fear is I'll misguide you. So I give you the lessons from the Quran. The Quran says, don't let the hatred of a people move you to deal unjustly. Listen to me carefully, young Muslim soldiers and those people out there who are of any spiritual consequence and spiritual faith. The Quran says, don't let the hatred of a people move you to deal unjustly. Why is that important? Some of the prophets, some of the companions came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. They said, "O messenger of God, what is the best advice that you can give me?" He said, "Don't get angry." They said, "But what is the best advice? What is the second?" He said, "Don't get angry." And then they asked again. He told them a third time, "Don't get angry." Most of us will agree. When you're angry, you make horrible decisions. When you're angry, you make decisions in your life that have unrivaled consequences. And you always say to yourself, "Oh, I wish I could do that over again." I was blinded by passion. I was blinded by my rage. The Quran says, don't let the hatred of a people move you to deal unjustly. Why is that important? Secondly, it's important because you are a representative of what you say you believe. You are a representative and ambassador to what you say that you stand for. If you're flying off the handle, if you're mad at people and you call them dirty names because they call you dirty names, if you discriminate against them because they discriminated against you, what does that say about what you believe? The Quran says, I have made you into many tribes and families, not that you despise one another, but you get to know one another. The responsibility is on the believer. Those people who don't understand you at this present time need to have an opportunity to show, to see your humility, to see who you are as a person, to actually understand what drives you and what makes you tick. The Quran says, I have made you into many tribes and families. Not that you despise one another, but you get to know one another. There's a prerequisite here. You see, you have to know who you are and what you believe before you can actually really interact with another human being on the level of equality, on the level of self-confidence, on the level of self-worth. When you don't know who you are, as soon as they say something that is not appealing to you, you take all of your rage, you take all of your hurt, you take all of your pain, and you jump down their throats. The Quran says, don't let the hatred of a people move you to deal unjustly. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. They used to throw trash on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. They used to curse him. His neighbors used to curse him because he believed a little different than they believed. And he was so used to being mistreated. One day he came out and his neighbor wasn't mistreating him. And he said, "Where is my neighbor?" They said, "He's in the hospital, O messenger of God." What did he do? Did he laugh? Did he feel grateful to God that this man was in the hospital? No. Our prophet, peace be upon him, went to visit the man in the hospital. You see, he is called Uswatan Hasana, the perfect example. He took his hurt. He took his pain. He took his all of his disparaging comments that the man and the people had gave to him, and he did God's will. He didn't do his will. Had he done his will, if we do our will, then maybe we'll injure people like they injured us. God is calling us to a higher example. God is calling us to look at what he wills as opposed to what we feel. I'm going to say that again because I don't want you to miss that. God is asking us to look at what he wills as juxtaposed to what we feel. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Don't let the hatred of a people move you to deal unjustly. I have made you into many tribes and families, not that you despise one another, but you get to know one another. And in conclusion, I'll say this to you. God says in the Quran, who does more wrong than one who blocks people from the path of God? You see, your effects may not happen immediately. Your effect on human beings may not happen in 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. But your example of walking in your faith, in your light, in your present moment of God's will does more for the advancement of your faith than it does you flying off at the handle and so-called standing up for yourself. God's people are to be an example. God's people are to be a roadmap for how we handle life's difficult challenges. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may his face shine upon you. And may you take on his will as juxtaposed to your own. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you. Enjoy your day, O Muslimin, O believers, O people of the world who will hear this message. Take care. Peace.